Hey guys, this is Animat, and it's time once again that we find out what's in the box! Okay, so before I begin, I would like to go and talk to you guys a little bit about a new rule that I want to implement for at least whenever someone would send me a letter in what's in the box. Now, there's nothing wrong that's going on. It's just something that I've reflected upon since the last episode. Because the thing is that sometimes when reading letters and just going through one after the other, sometimes, like, it can really get me out of breath. And there are some that, like, some people can send me, like, page after page after page, and they would send me, like, numerous of questions, and I would end up reading, like, 5 to 10 minutes worth of just one whole letter, and it is a little bit hard for me to go through, like, each of those things that would take so long for me to read. And what I want to do ultimately is that I want to share the same enthusiasm to the last letter I would get as much as I would get the same enthusiasm on the first letter. So I did think up of a solution in order to solve that a little bit. So what I decided to do is that I am only going to answer a maximum of 2 questions per letter. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there who would send me, like, numerous of questions. They would keep sending me, like, 5 or 10 questions at a time. But I'm only going to be answering 2. And if someone does send me more than 2, then I will be the one choosing which questions to answer in here. So I hope you guys understand. It'll be not only easier for me, but it'll also be easier for you guys, so you don't have to sit there and watch an episode that's, like, longer than, like, what, 45 minutes or something like that, you know? So, hopefully you guys understand, and, well, let's go and still make this episode fun regardless. So, first things first, let's go and open up our first letter, which is going to be coming from AJ Bell. Hey Animat, how's it going? That's the question number 1. Nah, I'm just kidding, it's alright. Anyways, first of all, happy early birthday. By the time you got my letter, it was my birthday. By the way, my name is AJ, but I normally go by Josh. Sorry about that. Anyways, thanks for including my drawing in one of the titles. I have a few questions, but this one is interesting. What makes cartoon violence slash slapstick funny, in your opinion? Oh boy, that's actually a pretty good question, considering that nowadays, time has changed, and, like, the tone of humor that people do enjoy, it can be a little bit different, but I guess it would be more in the execution, and I think it would be more in terms of the impracticality of the situation. The more over the top and the more ridiculous it seems, and how the character can somehow come out okay after that, like somehow he would still be alive, then the more funny it is. I think that could be the goal of slapstick, is the more impossible, the more over the top, the more ridiculous the situation is, then the more hilarious it does end up. And also the aftermath, when we see the character getting a lot of damage but still made it on its own 2 feet, or we are safely assured that the character will come out okay afterwards. I think that is the main idea with slapstick, but I'm not 100% sure. But I definitely am a fan of, like, the classic Golden Age cartoons that bring out, like, cartoon violence and slapstick, especially coming from the masters like Chuck Jones or Hanna-Barbera or Tex Avery. Finally, question number 2. Why is it that most slapstick in modern cartoons are either tamed or not as funny as the classic cartoons like Tom and Jerry, the Looney Tunes, and Tex Avery? Well, okay, so I kind of mentioned that before, and for me, I would say it's more because how times have changed, how the tone of people's humor, like what they appreciate, what they enjoy, is a little bit more different. And plus the fact that we do live in an age where, because of the internet and because of how society is nowadays, and I would also include in our political climate, it is a lot more easier to be offended. Even like the smallest things can really trigger someone to be completely outraged. Like, even for me, like, you have no idea how many people would completely flip their lid when I would say, this Sony animation movie is bad. I mean, no matter what it would be, like, even for me, someone who would be considered one of the most family-friendly content on YouTube, that would still somehow get videos demonetized for some freaking reason, would end up offending people, you know? And I think that's pretty much the same thing when it comes to slapstick humor, where a lot of people just end up getting easily offended, so that's why a lot of people would rather change the tone of humor to be a little bit more witty, to use words in a sense, rather than, like, use Itchy and Scratchy style cartoon slapstick. So I think that's the main reason why. At least that's my theory. Like, don't quote me on that. That's what I think. But anyways, I have 2 requests for the animation hat. They're very underrated, but I don't know what to choose. Again, happy early birthday, and thank you for your fountain of knowledge and laughs of animation. Hope your birthday is awesome as always. See you later, dude, from AJ Bell. And apparently he requested me Omashu Tezua's Metropolis and Mr. Bug Goes to Town. P.S. Since it's cartoon month, I made a picture for your birthday. Speaking of cartoons, I heard rumors about a certain cartoon character running amok on the internet. Beware of a character made purely by ink. It's not the Phantom Blot. He might either draw you or invite you to this old animation studio. Would you like to take that chance? Oh, I know what you're talking about, boy. Alright, so, here it is, a classic little piece of, cartoons right over here. We got Donald, we got Scrooge, we got both Cupheads, we got, Chibi Sonic and Tails, and you also got, Inky right up here, and, man, people are gonna hate me for this, but I kind of forgot the other little character right over here. I know this is like freaking Satan incarnate in terms of anime. I just forgot the name, and I do apologize for that. But we also got a few other drawings as well. So, well, a little note here also saying, Dear Animat, it seems like a lifetime since we've worked on a cartoon together. 30 years really slipped away, doesn't it? If you're back in town, come visit the old workshop. There's something I need to show you. Your best pal, Joey Drew. Yeah, thanks, Joey, but there's one problem with that. You said 30 years really slip away, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm less than 30, just saying. So, anyways, also on top of that, we also got Inky and a cross. So apparently this is the internet's new Jesus, I guess. And finally, we got... Oh, this is the letter that I read. Okay, never mind. Okay, so other than that, thank you very much, AJ. That's actually pretty nice of you. Really nice, really nice. So next up we got coming up is going to be from Nate Spidgewood. So let's see what Nate has for us this time. Oh, what a coincidence. Nate apparently just wrote 2 questions, so... Oh, well, what perfect timing to actually implement that rule. At least, like, we got one person following it. Anyways, Dear Animat, I'm sorry I didn't write back to you for 5 months. It's because I have a life outside of it, doing other things like hanging out with friends. And I'm also sorry that my last letter is long. I'm such a dense writer. I'm glad you like my TV paint drawing from months ago. I hope you still like Desert Mirage, the film I worked on. And yes, I agree. That guy who was pestering you to review Rock Dog needs to shut up. Anyways, I have some question for you. Can Animation Look Back Cartoon Network begin with Ted Turner, like how Pixar started with George Lucas? Also, can you talk about The Moxie Show, the network's first original series? Well, funny enough, I do believe by the time you're watching this, the first part of Animation Look Back Cartoon Network should be released, so you check for yourself if that would actually be the case. Anyways, number 2, who do you think is a bigger offender in terms of padding in animation? The brown wolf from Sword in the Stone or the giant chicken from Family Guy? Well, I mean, these are two completely different things. Like, one is a movie and another is from a TV show. So, it's hard to really compare the two. But I guess with the brown wolf, he does offer a little bit more variety in the Sword in the Stone in a sense. Like, yeah, he brings up a little bit of his Wile E. Coyote shtick, but at least it's not the same thing over and over again like the giant chicken from Family Guy. That's all I can ask. Thanks for reading. Sincerely, Nate Spidgewood. Alright, really nice. Glad to hear you, glad to hear back from you, Nate. Alright, so, with all that said, and by the way, don't worry if you don't write me back all of a sudden because you have a life. I mean, it's perfectly fine. If you have your life, go ahead and live your life. You don't have to waste your time always just writing me, you know? Like, writing me a letter for what's in the box, it doesn't have to be that much of a top priority. I mean, go live your life to the fullest, man. That's all I can say to you. Anyways, moving right along, we got one from, Beckett. That's all it says. It's from Beckett. And, oh, okay, I can technically, okay, well, almost open it, but screw it. I'll just do it back the old-fashioned way. Okay, so interestingly enough, what happened is that Beckett actually wrote to me 2 letters, and they're pretty much the same thing. One is actually handwritten, and the other one is typed. But for the case that it should be a little bit easier to read, I'll just go with the typed one. Not to say that the handwritten one is impossible to read. I'm not saying that. It's just that, well, I mean, typing, it's easier to read no matter what. So let me just go ahead and do that. So, hello Electric Dragon 505. I first saw your video in 2011 with the Epic Mickey files, but it wasn't until the beginning of 2013 when I officially checked your videos out, starting with Animation Look Back Pixar. P.S. I still remember the back of my head being against you doing that, since you would have you would be scarce on resources for the honorable mention. Anyways, ever since then, I have been a huge fan, watching almost every single video you've been in, from the popular Animation Look Back and Animats reviews, and the infamous betting game known as Animats Classic Reviews, to tiny shows like the Muppet Vlog and The Life of Stanley the Internet Troll, and even appearances outside of your shows. Example, me destroying another Ratatouille DVD at Con Bravo. I would like to say that if you're reviewing something like Sausage Party or Food Fail, then I just scroll the screen down and sometimes skip certain parts. That way, I won't end up like some other people, having seen too many stuff that won't leave the mind. But anyways, as of now, I am 16 years old, and have become an aspiring drawer, impersonator, and film animation historian, with an amount of knowledge in my head coming from both you and my own research, and my mom introducing me to The Big Bang Theory, James Bond, and helping me becoming familiar with Batman and his history via Adam West's 60s craziness. The movies and TV shows I saw in my childhood include some Disney films, some Disney sequels, the Land Before Time sequels, some DreamWorks movies, a Fairly Odd Parents, and occasionally an occasional look at Sesame Street, and any form of Scooby-Doo, Ice Age 1 and 2, Nicktoons shows, Mary Poppins, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, PBS Kids shows, Charlie Brown Christmas specials, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. Just letting you know, I think your gaming channel should be called Electric Dragon Productions Gaming, but EDG would be fine as well. To me, Animat Plays is too generic for a channel name and should instead be used as AM Plays insert game here. Now for some questions. Well, unfortunately, it's a little bit too late, and the majority of people, or at least the one that got the most votes, is pretty much Animat Plays, so I have to go with that. Anyways, which scary place would you visit more often? The 2 animated things you gave a 1 out of 10 to, or the perfume department? I get the SpongeBob reference there. Personally, yeah, I would go to the perfume department. I was about to say, like, I'll just wear a mask. No, not even. It's like, you would still be, like, screwed over with all the different types of perfume. But at least with the perfume store, you can easily get out of it quick. But anyways, would you consider The Adventures of Prince Ahmed the first stop-motion movie you reviewed in Animat's Classic Reviews, or not? Well, it's really tough to say because technically it would be cutout animation, so using cutout pieces of paper as the puppets, but I don't necessarily think so, really. It doesn't appear as stop motion as much. It's pretty much on the same level as Fantastic Planet, where, like, maybe it would be stop motion, but at the same time it is 2D, so technically not. It's in that weird zone, really. Anyways, that's 95% of all I have for this letter, except another one to come soon. Sincerely, Andrew Beckett. Or, as I spontaneously decided to call myself via SB reference, name and address withheld. PS1. Oops, forgot to include the Penguins of Madagascar and Phineas and Ferb in TV shows I watch in my childhood. PS number 2. My head decided to make a nasty note that Severus Snape from Harry Potter would approve of. It says, clears throat, then talks like Alan Rickman. Mr. Brunet, you clearly show a lack of knowledge about Mr. Potter. This is evident in the What's in the Box episode, where you fail to recognize a single word in Gilroy Lockhart's letter, which is filed with words that anybody would recognize from the Wizarding world of Mr. Potter. And to further insult to injury, you fail to remember that the man who played Lockhart also voiced Miguel in The Road to El Dorado. If you are planning to on facing your cousin in a Mr. Potter quiz, I suggest studying right now, starting with the first 2 or 3 books. Otherwise, you risk... Excuse me, I am reading a letter. I said excuse me! Okay, otherwise you risk facing detention in my office. From Severus Snape, head of Slytherin House, potion teacher, and Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Whoo, boy, now that's one heck of a letter right over there. Okay, so, with that said, thank you very much, Andrew Beckett. Alright, man, that is admittedly one big letter there. Alright, so, hold on. No, you're gonna be coming soon. Don't worry about it. Anyways, let's move on to our next one, coming from Teddy Macedo. So, let's see what Teddy has for us right now. Dear Animat, it's been over a year since I've last written a letter to you. In case you are wondering what I've been up to late, after Thanksgiving break has passed last year, I've officially moved into a group home, and plus I've graduated high school this year. And what makes it even better is learning how to edit my own videos. And you've read all of this right. And in case you haven't checked that on my YouTube page lately, I've been doing some vlogs, sharing my thoughts on the Mr. Code Awards, and I have some questions regarding to Animation Look Back. For Cartoon Network, will you also talk about Star Wars Clone Wars and Star Wars The Clone Wars, as well as any Looney Tunes Scooby-Doo shows in cartoon that first aired in Cartoon Network? Well, for that, I'm not going to say anything. You'll just have to wait and see. Would you consider doing Animation Look Back on Disney Toon Studios? I don't know. Anyways, thank you for taking the time for reading this. Sincerely, Teddy Macedo. Okay, so, thank you very much, Teddy, and hopefully that will answer some questions for you. Even though I didn't necessarily answer them specifically, but, you know, I can't reveal all my secrets, so I cannot say yes, and I cannot say no. Anyways, let's actually move on from, Willie Okendo, I believe. There's a little bit of a sticker that's kind of hiding the name a little bit, so I'm just making a little guess on the name. Where do I open? I guess I'll start off with here. Hi again, Animat. My birthday has came again, and I've recently turned 27 this year. And this year was special to me because I celebrated the 15th anniversary of my personal favorite anime, Azumanga Daioh, and I've gotten the recently released Porky Pig 101 DVD as a birthday gift. And yes, I'm a huge fan of the black and white Looney Tunes cartoons from 1935 to 1943, and screw the Emoji Movie. Although you said maybe you will do an animation look back, the best of anime, I do have 2 suggestions for the idea of how it would play out. being similar to your best of stop motion look back, where you would talk about some of the more popular Japanese companies or creators who created the animes, and talking about the more popular anime shorts, shows, and movies. I hope these ideas will work if you feel like doing this look back anytime, as long as there's any history or facts on animes outside of Studio Ghibli. Now for some questions I want to ask you. Do you hate the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and Jake and the Neverland Pirates? They suck. Well, not necessarily. I don't have much of a thought on them. I mean, the thing is, they're made for children. I don't think they're really made for the hardcore Mickey Mouse fans or the hardcore Peter Pan fans. So, like, they're pretty much going into a different direction, so I'm not even gonna go there. It's just for kids. Just remember that. What's your personal favorite classic Looney Tunes cartoons? Well, for me, I would say, like, one of my all-time favorites, I gotta go with Duck Amuck. That's always a classic right over there. And, some of the other ones, honestly, I haven't fully thought about, like, what would be my all-time favorite, Looney Tunes cartoon. But for now, I'll just say Duck and Muck, because I know that one is one of my favorites, like, so far. That's all I have to say, so, give me a happy birthday shout-out, and see you later, dudes. So, with that said, happy birthday, Willie! So, we do have some other pieces of paper right over here, so let's see what we got. Apparently we got this little meme happening right over there. Hello, everyone! Oh my god! So, apparently I'm a part of this anime right now, so, I know it's Azumanga Daioh, but just a part of that little meme section. Alright, so we also got another piece right over here. So this is just a bigger piece of paper presenting Azumanga Daioh, Azumanga Tunes. And I just noticed apparently there's also like other characters as well. We got Sonic characters, and we have a few Digimon characters as well over here. So yeah, I guess this is like a little crossover that Willie made up. So thank you very much, Willie. Really nice right over here. Alright, so with that said, let's move on to our next one. Coming from, does it have, oh yes, it's from, wait, is it? Okay, yeah, okay, well, hold on. I'm sure there is a name, but just gotta fully make sure when I open it. But one thing I have noticed is that this one is coming from France. So let's see what it says in here. There we go. So I think is there anything else? No. Okay, good. Anyways, let's go get this paper going, and there we go. Oh boy, this is gonna be a big one. So all right. To Animat! Hello again, Animat! It's Aurélien Beauchesne, the horn player from Bordeaux. I understand your surprise over my second letter, which you got back in July, the rewriting of the June letter. You might have taken this last one as spam, but let me explain the situation where I stuck myself unwillingly. The first letter that you received from me was supposed to arrive from the May episode of What's in the Box, and following one was scheduled from the June episode, but there's a big catch to it. There's a sending delay between France and Canada, which can go from 7 to 10 days. I sent the first two letters between the 15th and the 20th of May and June, and this can explain why they appeared months afterwards, June and July. Having understood that sending problem, I decided that from now on, to be able to send letters to you from them to appear on time for your monthly box episodes. I will write and send my letters during the first half of the month, which I plan to send a new letter to you, or a package, who knows. And don't worry about double opening. It's a formality from my local post office from sending letters outside of Europe. Now that this problem got out of the way, I wanted to update you on what's been going on in my life in France. First off, I got my second year of professional music studies with almost a B+. The last exam was not so easy to perform due to a very poor reverberation of the recital hall where I played my pieces. I kid you not, we have like 30 concerts and recital halls in Bordeaux and its suburbs, but our administration chose one of the worst setup to set up our yearly exams. Phew. Sometimes I wonder if some people forget their brains in their toilets. Weird though, I know I also helped my mother move out from Burgundy to the Alsace region during the second half of July, and boy, that was hard as hell. There was an old player piano, which weighed about 350 kilos, that had to be moved by 8 people up the stairs of my mom's new house. And no, they weren't retired wrestlers. I also participated in the International Chamber Music Festival of Prades near Spain during the first half of August. Not only did I make new friends there and had many concerts in old abbeys and churches, but I also fell in love with the Canigou Mountain, but not as much as Cézanne loved the Saint Victoire Mountain. But unfortunately, all isn't good news. I suffered 2 losses during the summer. The first one is my female cat, Ula, who passed away from dryness at the age of 14 on the 27th of July. Even though she was protective of her territory, she was very kind in our family. And the second one is my last horn teacher, whom I've got during 9 years and had my first official concert with him, who passed away from pancreatic cancer just a month after he got his retirement on the 3rd of August at 61 years old. I thought to myself that these summer vacations would be smooth and reposeful, but now that those losses happen, it will be a bit more harder to have a brightened spirit throughout the last weeks of our summer. But as I told myself a few days afterwards, as long as the water will continue to flow on our planet, so will the flow of life. There was also a third loss, although this one hit me non-directly. On the 11th of July, we lost a great name in Japanese animation, Shinji Yokoyama, the musical mastermind behind animated classics such as Captain Harlock and Saint Seiya. Yes, I said it is quite long and heavy, but I felt like sharing it to you, to your other subscribers. Now that the summer resumes and gotten out of the way, let's see what question department has right now. What is your favorite Asterix comic book? Oh god, my favorite Asterix comic book. Honestly, it's been so long that I actually have a favorite. It's been a while since I've actually read them, so I'm honestly not 100% sure, so I don't think I can answer that one. I do apologize. Which Ghibli movie soundtrack do you like the most? Mine is Princess Mononoke. Favorite soundtrack? That's a good question. I would probably say I really do like The Wind Rises. That's actually a very nice one right over there. Any other ones? Well, Spirited Away is always a classic, but yeah, I would probably say Wind Rises or Spirited Away. Alright, well, that's all for this letter. Enjoy the holidays from Aurélien Beauchesne. P.S. I just saw Despicable Me 3 in theaters the 23rd of July, and it rocked. Instead of that awful Emoji Movie coming up in October, oh boy, this one is gonna suck. This one is gonna be such a real disaster for Sony Pictures, or will it be? PPS, your thoughts on the upcoming In This Corner of the World? I don't know. It does, you know, it looks like a more lighthearted Grave of the Fireflies, I will say. But yeah, oh boy, so that's another big letter right over there. So thank you very much, Aurélien. Man, that's a big letter, but thank you so much for the update. Alright, so the next one right over here is going to be coming from Katie. And there's another name, like, there's a last name there, but it only says Katie Me. But I think we'll get the last name there if Katie decides to write it. But let's see what it has. Alright. And the letter should be right over here. Let's see. Dear Animat, you may not know much about me, but I have watched your videos and reviews. I actually felt bad that you had to review the Emoji Movie right after you did your classic review of Fantasia. I did leave a comment about a suggestion about skipping the review of that Sony animation movie because I thought it would help value your sanity. I understand that, Katie, but I would make a lot of people mad about it. I mean, honestly, like, a lot of people are, and at the time, they really were anticipating me to review the Emoji Movie, so, you know, like, it's a tough job, but I had to do it. But anyways, since you hated Sony Animation since their first Cloudy movie, which I sometimes call it Clowny with a chance at meatballs, because the way how it's made is like it was by actual clowns. So I thought I would make you something that can make you feel better, like you're back in those good old days of reviewing the greatest movies in your taste. Oh, and when you're doing animation look back of Cartoon Network, I hope you make sure you include the show that the channel used to have, but also forgotten by channel executives and people outside the company. The ones I'm referring to are Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi, Class of 3000, and The Mr. Men Show. They are fun to watch besides the original Powerpuff Girls, Ed, Edd n Eddy, the original Teen Titans, Steven Universe, and We Bare Bears. Wishing you the best of luck. Sincerely, Katie Mealy. Katie Mealy. Okay, so on top of that, we got oh wow, that's actually a pretty nice drawing. So here's me as a Mr. Men character. Oh my god, now like I just gotta say right now, like in terms of the Mr. Men characters, I used to read these as a kid all the time, like in my young age. You know, it's actually kind of funny at the same time that I also have like a floating hat also. And right over here we got, oh wow, that's actually really nice. Honestly, I was expecting it was me, but no, this is actually Joy dressed up as Sorcerer Mickey. Oh, that's actually really cute, and it's very well done, I must say. Really good job on there, Katie. Really do like it, so thank you very much. Really sweet of you, Katie. Really sweet. Alright, so with that said, I believe we have one more, and this actually feels quite heavy. This is going to be coming from Conrad Talberger. I believe that's the name. So, here, let me just go and open this one. Yeah, that'll do. Holy crap, did he send me an entire script? I mean, look at this. This is, it's like almost book worthy. Like, this is like sending me an entire godforsaken book. Okay, so let's see what happens. Dear Animat, let's say I am also a huge fan of most animated films, but mostly Disney. I do understand, sure, I'm not usually a reboot fan, though, since I stay close to the originals, but not all of them are bad, since I did like The Jungle Book, along with the 101 Dalmatians with Glenn Close, and Cinderella was nice too. But just like what Disney was doing on making live-action reboots, here's a logo of 12 non-Disney animated films that deserve a live-action reboot that'll make a huge buttload of money and storylines that'll look good. What do you think? Also, I would also hope that you can enjoy this booklet of my version of Toontown called Toontopia. It will have some non-Toon characters also. It only features only locations and characters and objects that came from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs to Big Hero 6 because I didn't want to be too busy. You can look at it later, and since it is a little bit long. Oh, sincerely, Conrad Thalberger. P.S. I'm now in college at St. Lawrence, and I am quite artistic since I'm learning new steps in animation since it's my last year of the 2-year program that I'm in. So, apparently these are the live-action films that Conrad would like to make. So we got Iron Giant, Anastasia, An American Tale, The Land Before Time, Quest for Camelot, The Road to El Dorado, Sinbad, Spirit, The Swan Princess, We're Back, Balto, and Thumbelina. So that's his suggestions right over here. And on top of that, we also got, apparently we also have this little poster he made of apparently the Dragon Tales movie. I didn't know that would be a thing, but yeah, apparently they want, apparently there's a Dragon Tales movie now. Alright, anyways. And then we have the entire script of Toontopia. So that's the whole scenario that's going on right over there. It's an entire script. Alright, is there something in the end? No. Okay, no. That's pretty much it. So, yeah, I'll take a look at Toontopia a little bit later, but I'll just say right now, thank you very much, Conrad. Very nice of you. And that will pretty much be it for the letters portion of what's in the box. And, honestly, I think this is going pretty well. I like the new flow that I decided to go with, and there are a lot of people who want to give me massive updates on what's going on with their lives, but you know what? It's really nice. It's really sweet. And yeah, so far, I still have some enthusiasm ready, and I'm ready to go and open the package portion right over here. But I'm not going to be doing this here. This will be in the package portion of the episode. So, for now, until next time, see you later, dudes!